Hey guys, it's Shayna and welcome back to my channel. I genuinely hope you, your loved ones are staying safe, healthy. It is crazy how much has changed since the last time I posted. Yeah, I'm jumping on the mask bandwagon, but I want to do what I can to help. As a disclaimer, I know these masks aren't medical grade and nowhere near the standard of the N95 mask. But since the CDC recommends that we use cloth masks when we go outside, I figured something is better than nothing. We're gonna make it free, we're gonna make it stylish, so let's go and make some masks. So I've been watching a lot of mask DIYs, and some of them are super cute but not that functional, and some of them are functional but not that cute. So I wanted to marry the two and make a fashionably functional mask, so I've added a filter option. So to kick us off, here are the supplies that I used. Sewing tape for measurements, pen and paper to draw the templates, I just used regular printing paper, fabric scissors but any pair will do, and my design fabric is a old pleather skirt from Forever 21 that I stopped wearing years ago, and an Urban Outfitters duster bag. For the lining fabric, I used a cotton t-shirt from Nasty Gal, a pillowcase, then I have pins to help hold down the material, elastic for the ears, napkins for the filter, and white Taylor chalk to trace on the black material that I have, as well as a Sharpie/black marker for my white fabrics. To start this off, I took measurements for the first template. Using the inches side of the measuring tape, I measured the bridge of my nose to a little under my chin, which was around 5.5 inches. And then second, I measured ear to ear, making sure to go over my nose for the width of the mask, and that came around 12 inches. And since I completely forgot to record myself drawing out the templates, I'm busting out the special effects. So first, let's just focus on the lining template. Before drawing anything, fold the paper in half. Then you're gonna divide the measurements you just took. So I took my face measurements and I'm gonna divide them in half. For example, the bridge of my nose to my chin is 5.5 inches. I added an extra 1/2 inch for seam allowance, making my total measurement 6 inches. I divided 6 by 2, which equals 3, so I drew a 3-inch horizontal line, the arrow going from right to left in this example. Then my ear to ear measurements are 12 inches, so I added an extra 1/2 inch for seam allowance again, making it 12.5 inches. Divide that by 2 equals 6.25, so I drew a 6.25 inch long vertical line, the arrow going from bottom up. For the curve connectors, I made a mark on the vertical line by dividing the 6.25 inch measurement I took, which equals roughly around 3 inches. Translate the 3 inches to centimeters. I don't know why, but you just do it. It's how I was taught, and it works. So it's gonna be 3 centimeters from the top. That's the arrow going from the top to that little red circle on the screen. Then for my 2 centimeter marker on the bottom, I added 1/2 inch to my 3-inch measurement from the horizontal line. So 3 inches plus 1/2 inch equals 3.5 inches. Translate that to centimeters, that's 3.5 centimeters. So that's 3.5 centimeters from the outer edge of the template, and that is this arrow going from the outer edge to the red circle. And now that we're done with the math segment of this portion, connect the marks by drawing a curved line between the 2 centimeter markers. How steep you want your curve to be is up to you, but I will suggest not to go too steep as it'll expose more of your face. As for your pocket template, it's super simple. You do the exact same steps as you did on the other template. You just cut a 1.5 centimeter measurement from the bottom, so it's a little bit smaller. And now for the arts and crafts segment, just cut out your pattern with your scissors, making sure to cut off that 1.5 centimeter from the bottom of your pocket template. I said that weird, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. So since this mask has a filter option, the lining template is used for both the design fabric and your inner fabric, while the pocket template is used for your other fabric to create a pocket patch to insert your filter. For my design fabric, I cut off the bottom hem up through the side stitching along the waistline, so I'm left with an even and flat piece of my skirt. Then I folded in half to double the fabric and used my lining template to trace my pattern. Now, if you're using anything shiny or pleather-like, make sure to fold the fabric on the other side, the inside outside, the opposite of the shiny side, so that you're not marking your fabric design, because it's just gonna make a bunch of white marks. Repeat that step for the lining fabric. So you're using your lining template for your inner lining fabric, and then use your pocket template for your pocket fabric. Pretty simple, I know. I'm not gonna bore you with the steps. Here's a fast version. And here are the final pieces you should have when you are done. I pulled apart my 2 design pieces and made sure to have the wrong side facing out. So the shiny sides are on top of each other, and pinned them at the top. I did the same exact thing for my other 2 pieces. Oh, and here I am trying to be smooth. Check this out. Wait a minute, that didn't look... Used the wrong snap finger. Anyways, back to where we were at. Then I sewed a 1/4 seam on each piece. Make sure to start and end with a back stitch. It helps secure your stitching. And then cut off the extra thread and tie a knot. I cut small slits on each of the pieces so that it has some flexibility and stretch whenever we flip our mask inside out at the end. A straightener here is completely optional. I don't have an iron, believe it or not, so I get by using my straightener, but heat helps create a cleaner fold. And here I'm folding the ends of my pocket 1/4 inch in, and then another fold 1/4 inch in, pinning it down, sewing a straight stitch. And once you do that, you'll get something that looks like this. Now for the fun part, it's time to build our mask. So take your inner lining piece and have it facing the right side up, and stack your pocket piece on top, also facing the right side up. This is super important because whatever you put that pocket piece on will be your inside lining. So just match up your 2 fabrics and pin them into place. Then you're gonna take your design fabric and make sure you face that fabric inside out, having the main side of the design facing down away from you, and stack it on top of your pocket piece. You can literally take the pins out to repin the design piece, but I just made it more difficult and added extra pins. I don't know why. I thought it would be fun. The reason we didn't stack the 3 pieces right away is it's safer to do it step by step and make sure the correct sides are stacked on top of the other during the build stage. Here I'm sewing a 1/4 seam around the outside of the mask where we pinned it, and using a straight stitch. Of course, I did a back stitch at the beginning and end to secure my stitching, making sure to cut off the extra thread, cutting those slits around the mask so that we can give the fabric some extra flexibility, because we are about to turn this inside out. Then I cut out 2 pieces of elastic, measuring the outside of my head to my ears, because I wanted this mask to go around my head and not just around my ears. So the larger 10 inches will be the top piece, and the smaller elastic measuring 8.5 inches will be the bottom piece. Then I tucked in the edges of my fabric on the 2 end pieces of my mask 1/2 inch in. Then I placed my elastic pieces about 1/4 to 1/2 inch inside the fold and pinned them down to hold both the elastics in place. I found this out after I made the video. Having the pins go vertical is so much easier versus how I did them, which is horizontally, because it's quicker to pull them out when you're sewing with the sewing machine. I just sewed a straight stitch with a back stitch at the beginning and the very end on top of the elastic to make sure to secure those pieces in. And for the final touch, I roughly traced over the shape of the mask on the napkin so that I could cut it out and have it fit comfortably inside the pocket compartment. And voila, we have a mask. I thought this one turned out exceptional. It fit my face really well, it had a lot of coverage, plus I liked how the elastic went around my head. It gave the mask a nice and snug feel, like it was locked on my face, and it wasn't going anywhere. Plus, I even did a lighter test to see if I could blow out the lighter, and it passed. My boyfriend liked this mask so much he actually claimed it for himself, so there we go guys, the ninja of my dreams. On to mask number 2. So this is a pleated mask with the elastic going behind my ears. I'm using the Urban Outfitters duster bag and an old pillowcase for the inner lining fabric. Surprise, surprise, there's no footage of me drawing out this template either, but it's super simple and the photos are pretty clear. Since this mask has a filter option, there are going to be 2 pattern templates to follow for this mask. So there's no custom measurements for these templates. I actually made another mask before shooting this video using this template from someone else, and it fit my face, so I just stuck with it. I think the sizing is more for a small, medium-shaped face. If you have more of an extra small frame, I would just knock off a couple or 3 centimeters from each side. So to create this pattern, I measured 25 centimeters for the horizontal line following the width of the paper, which is around 10 inches. Then 20 centimeters along the length of the paper, which is around 8 inches. Then of course, trace your design pattern on your design fabric and cut it out. And for the inner lining, I measured 19 centimeters for the horizontal line following the width of the paper, which is around 7.5 inches long, and 15 centimeters along the length of the paper, which is around 6 inches. And then use this pattern to cut out your 2 pieces for the inner lining. Make sure your design fabric is facing towards you, and then put the lining fabric on top and pin it at the edge. Fold the end of the lining fabric with a 1/4 fold in and then another 1/4 fold in and pin it down, and then go ahead and repeat the same exact steps with the other lining fabric. Once everything's pinned down, you're going to do a straight stitch on all 4 sides. As always, I start off my stitching with a back stitch and I end it with a back stitch to secure my stitching. And then once you're done, make sure to knot the extra thread and cut it off so you're left with a clean finish. Then once all 4 sides are sewn, fold both of the inner lining pieces to the back side of the design fabric. And pin the top edges down to help keep it in place. So now that we've pinned down the edges, we're going to pleat our mask. And once we're done pinning down our folds, just do a straight stitch on the white edges of the mask. Then I cut 2 pieces of elastic and I measured them out to 5.5 inches long. The elastic is going to be placed on the white corners of the mask, and we're going to fold the black fabric twice on both sides. I personally found it easier to fold the black fabric first, then pin it down so it stays in place, and then put the white elastic inside the black fold. So here I'm just removing the top pin so that I can stick my elastic in, and I tucked it in about 1/4 to 1/2 inch inside the black fold. And then I looped the elastic in front of the mask to tuck in the other end. Again, if the pins were going horizontal versus vertical, it would have been so much easier to sew, but I didn't do that, so don't be me. Do it better. But here's an idea of how the elastic is supposed to look before you sew it. And then when you're done pulling on it, just do a regular straight stitch. I sewed both vertically and horizontally over the elastic to make sure it's secured in place, and also be mindful of where your elastic is so you don't sew over that. And that concludes the sewing portion for this mask. Now the next step is taking a napkin, folding it in half, make sure it fits snugly inside the pouch, and you are good to go. And all of that hard work, here is the Urban Outfitters mask. I love the way this came out. I think the Urban Outfitter design gave the mask a nice edge. The filter definitely made it feel more durable. The elastic fits perfectly behind my ears, and this mask also passed the lighter test. If you guys enjoyed the video and can now make face masks in your sleep, hit the like button. I would so appreciate it. And subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be up to date with all my new releases. Keep on the social distancing, wash your hands, don't touch your face. I know, you already know this. The more we're compliant, the faster we can get back to society. Thank you for being a part of the Bargain Baddie community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.